Microsite, which I've got a lot of good things to say about microsites as a strategy, especially in the current US environment, which is a little hostile to corporate brands in the link bait space. So these Zensoft guys, right, produced this little game, which is exactly like Super Mario Brothers, only your candidate Obama, right, and you like stomp on Republicans and eat mushrooms to kill lobbyists. I don't know what exactly is in here, but it's, you know, I mean, it's clever. It's just sort of fun, and the music is hilarious, and it's, you know, it's just sort of a clever little dig at a very opportune time. This was released last fall when the elections in the US were being held, right? So a very timely link bait, sort of small amount of effort. They essentially ported a game engine that's relatively easy for game developers to use and produce this. And then there's this one, which I also really like and actually was highly relevant. In fact, all of these ones, the thing I like about it is that these pieces of link bait, these social media pieces, are all very relevant to exactly what the company was targeting. So, you know, a lot of folks talk about sort of social media getting off topic, and I thought these were a nice change for them. So this is from epicurious.com, which is a very big brand in the US around recipes. They're also partnered, I think, with Bon Appetit, which is like a big magazine for food. And this little device here lets you hover on a state, and you can choose, you know, your season. So I chose April, or it defaults to the month that it is. And then it'll tell you what is fresh in your state right now, right? It'll tell you the ingredients that are essentially fresh, and then you can choose recipes by it. It's pretty clever. I mean, honestly, you know, you go to the store and you kind of wonder, I wonder what's in season right now. And if you're not a big foodie, you might not know. So this is, and unfortunately the URL is tremendously long. I don't know why they had to do that, but. All right, so I have some tips. Actually, I think I have 12, but it's close. I love to end with the tips, and I think some of these are pretty good. So, number one, build simple, especially if it's your first time. Do not invest tons and tons of resources and effort into viral content. The reason I strongly suggest this is because you're going to have failures, you're going to have successes, but if you build simple first to start with, you're going to get a good sense of what works and what doesn't, and you're not going to invest too much time and energy failing. Number two, if you can't make it authentic just by its very nature, make it look authentic, make it feel authentic, right? I mean, I think the Nike example with Wayne Rooney is just very, very authentic. And in fact, the Epicurious one with the seasonal foods is extremely authentic because these are relevant to the brand, and you can imagine them producing them without having any intent behind the link bait. So I would highly recommend that you think about how you can show this in a fashion that no one assumes you're doing it just for the links. Number three, this relates back to number one. When we do a campaign for our clients in the social media space, we say, we're going to do 3 or 4 viral pushes for you. We're going to design content. Usually we don't develop it, the client will develop it. And out of those 3 or 4, we hope for one success, right? So they're paying for all 3 or all 4, but we're hoping for one success. And we let the client know this ahead of time. You should be aware of it too. If you want to adopt these types of campaigns in your marketing efforts, I would recommend that you know ahead of time. Some of them are not going to work. Number 4, oh God, this is the worst thing ever. If you've ever done one of these viral content pieces, you've seen this tragedy that happens when you get, oh, let's get the marketing team and the legal team, and now the CEO wants to review it. No. I want one designer and one writer, and I basically want to push it out after that. Maybe we'll tweak it a little bit. But I want someone, usually I want someone who's young. I want someone who plays in the social media space all day long, right? I want someone who literally knows, could tell you 25 cool things that they found on Dig in the last week, right? That's the kind of person that I want developing and writing link bait. Funny does sell. Funny gets a lot of views, but you know what? Funny is also really hard. I think it is incredibly hard to be humorous, especially as sort of a corporate marketer, right? And the jobs that you and I have are not geared towards, well, humor. Maybe Marcus is geared toward humor. Interesting is a lot easier. If you have cool data that you can share, cool ways that you can expose it, interesting things to talk about, I think that's a winning strategy, especially as you get started. If something is just too damn hilarious, right? Incredibly funny, and everyone in your office loves it, everyone you show outside your office loves it, okay, maybe it really is funny enough to be viral content. But I guarantee you, sitting in a room with a whiteboard and a few marketers does not always produce the most hilarious content. You think it's funny, we all think it's funny, right? But not everyone thinks it's funny. Number 7, I really like the microsites right now. And this is because it's getting so hard to push through content on a commercial or corporate domain. If you are sort of a brand that does a lot of selling and has a very commercial website, and then you have sort of a subsection or a subfolder where you put your link bait, I don't know what to call it. There's sort of a sixth sense that social media participants have. They're like, this doesn't feel authentic to me. Put it on a microsite. You can get a lot of value there. You can potentially rank for it there. Just be aware of how you're going to be using that microsite strategy. Eventually, you might want to redirect it, or put other things on that microsite domain that'll earn you links back. You might want to have a strategy of collecting email addresses or some other marketing tactic to sort of make that microsite valuable. Number 8, hire professionals. So here's basically the deal. One push is between $4,000 and $6,000 from the professionals that we use. So when we do a contract for 4 pushes, it's around 16,000 US, which I think is around 10,000 euros.
Oh really? No, it's like 3 or something.
You gotta get up again. Oh man, this tie was a lot more expensive than I thought. Really, the reason that I recommend this is because the professionals know what they're doing, they've seen every kind of content before, and they can tell you whether your content can go viral or not. It's really worth the money. It is, I promise you. If your social media push guys put it up on Dig and Reddit and Delicious and StumbleUpon, and you're like, oh awesome, it's up there. I'm going to go dig it with my account now, and we're going to have everyone in the office go dig it, and oh god. Nothing is worse. You will sink the campaign faster than it can start. It's just a terrible, terrible idea. Sit back, let the pros do their job, and don't interfere. Don't tweet it, don't stumble it. I know it's really tempting. I had this experience a few weeks ago where, my guys sent me something and they're like, okay, it's up on Reddit, and I'm like, oh man, I have a pretty good Reddit account. Like, I know I can just log in and give this a boost, and I can tweet it, and a bunch of people, but I have to stay back. You've got to stay back, because you can spoil the campaign and you can burn their accounts. And they will, the guys we work with tell us, don't you dare vote on this yourself, or we're not going to work with you anymore, because you might burn our accounts, right? Number 10. This should be obvious, but it's not always. I see so many times where businesses will come up and they're like, I want to do social media marketing. I love this Twitter stuff and the Dig and the Reddit and all this, and I want to get into it. And we sort of go, why? What do you intend to accomplish with this? If you don't have a fantastic answer for what you're going to accomplish with your social media campaigns, get that first. First have the answer to that question, then go for the social media. Number 11, be really careful here, because I see people all the time who go, okay, we're going to do some link bait around this, it's our primary keyword, we really want to rank for it. They're ranking like number 7, 8, 9, something like that. And then they launch the social campaign and it does great and they're ranking number 1. And then they go, oh crap, no one's buying from us anymore, because the number 1 ranking that we've got right now doesn't have any relationship to the commercial content. And so now we're sort of competing with ourselves, and we don't really know what to do, right? Maybe we can 301 it back to the old page or something like that. Oops. Target different keywords, right? Be careful not to cannibalize your own campaigns. And finally, number 12, sweat the small stuff. When it comes to social media, the design, the look and feel, the way the text is written, all of these things matter a tremendous amount, and little things will stick out. You want to throw